Hi everyone, welcome back to Kids Church. So next Saturday is our big event at First Baptist Church of Waterford. Next Saturday is April 3rd, and we will be at First Baptist Church of Waterford from 10 to 12, trying to give you guys some fun things to do for your Easter weekend. So 10 o'clock, we'll be there. We're handing out candy-filled eggs, and we're going to give you some toys and crafts. There'll be different stops in our parking lot outside at the church. Okay, it's a drive-through event. You won't need to get out of your car. You just need to have your mom or dad or some grown-up drive you over to the First Baptist Church of Waterford. Now, I just want to make sure everybody knows this is an open event to anybody who's local. So tell your friends. Anybody can come. You don't have to go to First Baptist Church of Waterford. You don't have to know me. If your friends are showing you these videos or mom and dad found them on the internet and you are local to First Baptist Church of Waterford, please come. We want to see you. I'd love to see you and say hi to you. And I want to give you some fun stuff to do for Easter. So please come out and see us. We'll be there from 10 to 12, Saturday, April 3rd. And we'll be there until we run out of bags. Okay? All right. I hope to see you guys. And this is our last week with this verse, so make sure you call me, okay? First Baptist Church of Waterford, you can call Mrs. Ledestri too, and say your verse to us over the phone, okay? I have some friends who have been really great about memorizing their verses, and they call me every month, or they find me every month and say them to me. And it's been really fun to hear from you guys and listen to you say your verses. So make sure you keep working on them, okay? All right, here's our verse. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14, verse 6. Let's say it again. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14, verse 6. Okay, our story today is called The Sun Stops Shining, the Crucifixion. It's taken from Matthew 27, Mark 15, Luke 23, and John 19. So remember last week, Jesus was taken out of the garden where he was praying, and he was brought to the leaders. Remember, Judas, we say, betrayed him, told the leaders where he would be so that the leaders could bring him because they were angry that he was loving people and caring for people, and they wanted to kill him. And so they were going to bring him to the Romans because only the Romans could kill people. And they were going to tell the Romans that he wanted to be their king. Nobody on earth understood what kind of king Jesus was talking about, and that's where all of this came from, okay? So here we go. So, you're a king, are you? The Roman soldiers jeered. Then you'll need a crown and a robe. They gave Jesus a crown made out of thorns and put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him. Your Majesty, they said. Then they whipped him and spat on him. They didn't understand that this was the Prince of Life, the King of heaven and earth, who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made him a sign, Our King, it said, and nailed it to a wooden cross. They walked up a hill outside the city. Jesus carried the cross on his back. Jesus had never done anything wrong, but they were going to kill him the way criminals were killed. So here's the picture. You can see there's Jesus right here carrying the cross. You see up at the top there? That's the sign that says Our King, okay? And those guys down here in the red and silver, those were the Roman soldiers making him carry that cross up the hill. They nailed Jesus to the cross. "Father, forgive them," he gasped. "They don't understand what they're doing." "You say you've come to rescue us," people shouted, "but you can't even rescue yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. A legion of angels would have flown to his side if he called. "If you were really the Son of God, you could just climb down off the cross," they said. And of course they were right. Jesus could have just climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it all stop. Like when he healed that little girl. Remember that story? And when he stilled the storm. Remember they were in the boat and the waves were rocking and he just told the wind and the waves to stop? And when he fed 5,000 people. Remember that one? When he just had 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread? Right? But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was love. "Papa," Jesus cried, frantically searching the sky. "Papa, where are you? Don't leave me." And for the first time, and the last, when he spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. God didn't answer. He turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face, the face of the one who would wipe away every tear from every eye. Here's your picture, okay? There's Jesus on the cross with that Our King sign. Even though it was midday, so think like lunchtime in the afternoon, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine. The earth trembled and quaked. The great mountains shook. Rocks split in two, until it seemed that the whole world would break, that creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down on his own Son instead of his people. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children whose hearts were filled with sin. Then Jesus shouted out in a loud voice, "It is finished." And it was. He had done it. Jesus had rescued the whole world. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Strange clouds and shadows filled the sky, purple, orange, black, like a bruise. You can see on that hill there in the picture, there's 3 crosses. When you read the story in the Bible, there were actually 2 people on either side of Jesus who were dying on the cross with him that day. This story doesn't go into it, but that's why there's 3 crosses. Okay? So remember, Jesus has just died now, okay? So after he dies, they have to take him down off the cross. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus. They laid Jesus in a new tomb carved out of rock. So back then, when people died, they didn't have cemeteries like we have now. They would put people in almost like caves. They called them tombs, okay? So that's where they were putting Jesus' body. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They didn't know anything anymore. Except they did know that their hearts were breaking. That's the end of Jesus, the leader said. But just to be sure, they sent strong soldiers to guard the tomb. They hauled a huge stone in front of the door to the tomb so that no one could get in or out. So you can see they're pushing that big stone in front of the tomb, and those guards are going to stay there and guard the tomb so that no one can go in and no one can go out. So I know that story was a little bit harder today to hear about how Jesus had to go up on the cross and die. But I want you to remember that Jesus did that for us. He did that to rescue us. That's what we've been hearing about in the whole Jesus Storybook Bible, is everything that Jesus has done, everything that took place before this moment was so that Jesus could go on that cross and die for our sins to rescue us. Next week is Easter. The story gets much better and it's much happier, I promise. So make sure you come back next week, okay? And make sure you come and see me on Saturday. Come and get your Easter bags. And then you can either have your own egg hunt in your own yard with your family, or you can just open up and eat the eggs. But make sure you ask your parents, okay? All right, we'll do the verse one more time. Make sure you call me. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14, verse 6. Everything from our stories boils back down to that verse. No one can go to the Father in heaven except through Jesus. And that's why Jesus had to die on the cross. I've been saying this every week. If you have questions, if you want to talk about any of these stories, please call me. Or you can call First Baptist Church of Waterford, Connecticut, and you can talk to Pastor Michael, or you can talk to Mrs. Ledestri, and she'll get you to someone who can help answer your questions if she can't answer them too. Okay? All right, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week for Easter. Bye.